Goldylocks Productions provides professional internet, TV, and radio shows in the spiritual and New Age genre.
Strap yourself in because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spiritual Insight Show. I'm Reverend Tiffany White Sage Woman, and I am excited to be here with each and every one of you again this Sunday, which is the 20th of January 2019. Welcome, everyone that's coming in and sitting in sacred circle with not just myself, but with everyone that is going to be watching this, whether it's live or you watch this on archives, and even for the live radio listeners on Spreaker, as this is streamed simultaneously on Facebook through the Goldylocks Productions Facebook page via BeLive TV, and also streamed live on Spreaker through Spreaker, so Spreaker Radio. So welcome everyone coming in, and just let everyone come in for a few minutes and just with the hellos and welcomes, and just let's just shed today. Let's just release anything, any and everything that's not for our highest and greatest. Let's just go ahead and get rid of that now. And you can do that with some deep breaths, deep breath in, deep breath out. And we're just releasing. Know that you are in a very safe place, in a safe space with each and every one of us. Please know that. All right. And we look forward. It is very interactive. If you're watching this live on the Facebook, then please comment. We absolutely encourage comments. And it's very interactive. We just love that. And there's so much to go over and so much to share with each other. So let me go ahead and say hello to everyone here. Let's see, we got Sarah. Hello, Sarah, Anthony, and Austin. Okay. Hello, Marie. Hello, Wendy. Yes, we're going to be talking about this full moon eclipse, blood moon. Good evening, Chris. Hello, Maureen. And good evening, Lyle. Thank you all so much for being able to sit in sacred circle with us. And hello, Robin. Yes. So just love this get together, our weekly get together of light workers. And even if you're uncomfortable with that term, just know that you are spiritually evolved and evolving continuously, because it's continuous and happening at a very fast rate, isn't it? So let's just take a few moments. And I know it's really exciting. Energy is really high and is pulsating really fast. So if we can just take some deep breaths. This is where it's important to be grounded, because we do feel everything moving so quickly, everything moving so fast, that you almost feel like you're off balance. Because that's what happens when things move so quick. We feel like we lose our feeding, don't we? We just lose our footing, and it's like, oh my goodness, I'm losing balance. So we have to constantly, it seems, work a little bit more diligently to stay balanced and to stay grounded. And it all pays off when we're doing this, and just keep on and keep on. So yes, we do have a super blood full moon this evening to tomorrow morning, depending what time zone you're in. So it's but we feel the effects. We really do. Now and then a couple of days afterwards. So we just, as it crescendos, we really feel it. Hello, Tammy. Thank you for joining us and sitting in Sacred Circle this evening. Okay, so we will start with talking about this and what you can expect, really, and what's going on with this. And it's a trifecta, because we've got, like I said, the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, and the full moon, super moon. Yeah, it's a total lunar eclipse, super moon, super blood moon. I mean, and the full moon is in Leo. That's like, wow, super duper. What's going on? So what we talked about last week was what you can expect for 2019 energetically. Hello, Amy. Hello, dear. Thanks for sitting in Sacred Circle with us. And all right. And so, and I said that we were going to talk a little bit more about what we can not really expect, but brace ourselves for, plan for, whatever we need to do energetically with this full moon to get us through this next really 3 to 7 days. Some people feel the effects well after the fullest point, and then when it starts to go into the waning, we can still feel the waxing. We can still feel and experience everything from now till 6 hours from now, or 5 hours. Actually, no, I think we are at 4 hours from now, 4 to 5. So we can still, we feel it now, and we're going to continue to feel it. Like especially we're getting a lot of these downloads or uploads, and it's not like immediate. It doesn't just drop into your body. It's like an IV. It's slowly been dripping in, and they have to be careful, because you just can't, throw an egg off a building. It's gonna splat. Or I know that's a science project, isn't it? But it's, you just can't do something too fast, or you're just going to really disturb and upset the physical body. So everything is happening, which used to be at a very slow pace, and now it has picked up. So what does this mean for us now? And now I have to tell you, this is the first supermoon. We've got 2 more coming up. The first 3 months of 2019, woohoo, is getting pumped with these supermoons. We have one in January, one in February, and one in March. So, wow. We're just beginning. So I talked about this a little bit last week. But so the supermoon for tonight into the 21st and for the next 3 to 7 days, the divine feminine is pouring in again, just bringing wisdom and change. Okay. The lunar eclipse brings endings. All right. That are unexpected and may shock us individually and as a group in our community and even planet worldwide. But just know that it's all happening for the highest good. Even if we don't see that right now, even if we don't see it or feel it or think that it's for the highest good, later on when we reflect, it was for everyone's highest and greatest. So don't be so quick to judge or to jump to any type of conclusions with anything. Just, you have to go with the flow, even if you don't understand it. And it's okay if you don't understand it. I think we explain things too much, don't we? We try to explain some things, and we can talk ourselves right out of something. We can talk ourselves way off the point of what we're trying to achieve. We really can overdo it, overtalk it. All right. So remember that with endings, there's new beginnings. And spiritually, this full supermoon and lunar eclipse, it will spiritually bring us into a higher frequency. Okay, we are expanding and ascending at the same time, which is that whole twist pull kind of feelings. All right. We all just need to stay patient and grounded, like I talked about, and balanced. And maybe we should need to ask ourselves, check that, ask that question. You know, we go through the whole I'm grateful gratitude checklist, but let's go through that in my balance checklist. Do I feel balanced? If I don't, what do I need to do to make myself balanced? Right? We really need to pay attention to ourselves, to who we are, mind, body, and soul. All right. And yes, absolutely, Chris, we need to trust the divine plan. Just trust, even more so than ever before. All right. Even those where we're on our spiritual, everyone watching this, absolutely, we're on our spiritual path. All right. And we think that we have overcome the most or the worst of all of our experiences or even tests. And yeah, actually you have physically, on this physical realm. We didn't go through all our past lives of physical pain, torture, being put to death for our beliefs, anything like that. We didn't go through all of that to come here now and not have the earth ascend into higher vibrations and dimensions and to reach peace. We didn't go through all of that just for giggles. I was going to say the other word too, but I was like, no, better not. We didn't do that just for fun. We didn't do that because it's, the earth is a amusement park. Oh, let's take that ride again. That was fun. Not. No. There's a purpose. We're on a mission. We want to see Earth get back to that higher vibration, back to that state of peace. Because Earth in creation was not a 3D planet. She was a higher vibrational planet. And we fell and took everyone with us, including the planet. But she agreed to it. She has her own she is a living being, and she has her own mission too. So we're all in this together, and it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It really is, even though it feels torturous at times. Trust me, it's not as torturous physically. You know what feels tortured now is our mind, because our mind realizes it's not in control. It has to give up the control to your sacred heart center. Fall or drop into that trust. This is what the surrender is. When you hear people say surrender, it's stop. Stop with the mind chatter. Just stop. Take deep breaths and trust that everything that you need to know, all the answers are within you. And it's that allowing ourselves to fall. So that falling really does, that's why they use the analogy of like jumping off a cliff, because you don't know if there's a safety net. Well, I can tell you that there is. Taking that leap of faith right down into our sacred heart center, to that command center, is beautiful. Is beautiful. Our mind cannot comprehend if we haven't been there. This is why meditation is always recommended, because it takes you there and it helps your mind to trust. It helps your mind to go, I've been here. It's okay. Everything's fine. Our mind is a powerful protector, but it can also be a powerful block, which all of us have experienced that as well. It can block us and prevent us being overprotective. All right. So this is why we are definitely moving from that control to command. Command, command, command. Sacred heart center, connecting with the cosmic sacred heart. All right. So it's the cosmic heart. So we're connecting heart to heart with all of us, with each and every one of us as we are awakening. And pretty much what that means is that we are ascending, but at the same time, isn't it interesting? We descend from our mind, fall into the sacred heart center, and ascend. You see where that number 8 really comes into play. With the mind, we're going to fall into that sacred heart center, and then it connects all the way back up to the cosmos, the sacred heart, right? Absolutely, it's tough being a human sometimes, but you know what we are doing. And I wonder if a lot of people understand this, is that we are creating, no, not creating a new species. Help me with the word. We are really expanding into a new version of ourselves. We are upgrading humanity. Humanity's getting an upgrade. Humanity 2.0, or however 3.0 or 7.0, or we're going into the 5th dimension and higher. So 5.0 and higher. So humanity's getting an upgrade. Because usually it's okay, you have an alien type of body, or you have a body, a physical body that supports wherever you live. Let me say that supports wherever you inhabit, whatever planet, wherever you live. So that's why we all look different in a physical sense. All right. So it's humanity, humans on earth, earthlings, earth beings are being redefined. And we're part of that. It's exciting. It really is. So yes, it also means those that don't want to be part of it, we see them, they're crossing over. Now, not everyone leaving is, and don't take this wrong, is bad or doesn't want to do their part. A lot of that are leaving are done. That's their mission. They have completed their mission, and they're leaving, and they are going to go on the other side and up in the higher vibrations and help us from there too. All right? Throw us some lifelines. Throw us a rope so we can hold on. No, but anyway, they're there to help us. So it's that great energy, magnetize and pull. Those that just want to stay in the 3D, and this is interesting because in the past, it was shared that another 3D planet had already been created, and that everyone that's dying off that doesn't want to ascend to 3D is going to this planet. But I haven't gotten that in the last 3 months. Something has happened. Something has shifted. And when I ask about that or ask about details to my angelic committee and to the Council of Light Beings, they're like, well, they have a choice now. There's even more choices. If they don't want to continue with that 3D loop, they can just wipe the slate clean and bring all those 3D people back to the melting pot of God, so to speak, of creation. And they lose all of who they are, not their soul. Please understand, they don't lose their soul, all right? But they don't get to keep all of maybe their characteristics that they had as a human, and their different body styles and costumes. I call them body costumes. They don't get to keep all of that. They're going to go back to the uncreated mass, and it's just that collective consciousness. And it's hard for us to understand what that is, but they actually can do that. And so I wonder if it's being rethought about another 3D planet, or if we're going to be such a success that that's not needed anymore. It's great, isn't it? I mean, I'm not getting any more on it, so I'm trying to be very careful. So, hello, Teresa. It's okay. Oh, you're not late. You're right on time. You can listen to the replay and listen to some of the things that you may have missed, but it's all right, sweeties. It's plug in to the energies, and we're all giving and receiving love, light, and healing. And isn't that beautiful, that harmonious feeling? It really is. Okay, so we're talking about too, and more, faster and faster. This is so interesting. I had a conversation with my dad, and who's in spirit, who's crossed over, and I had to release a lot of guilt when my dad crossed over, because this is my bonus dad, my dad who raised my brother and I, and he, I had a lot of guilt with him, because I felt like certain times in my 20s and early 30s, I was so focused on me and my needs, my 2 young kids' needs, trying to keep everyone happy, married to a husband who's active Navy, out to sea all the time. I was so focused on me and the kids that I should have been a better daughter. The trap, right? And he wasn't sick. He just suddenly died. He crossed over. And it was like no one, and he was in another state. He was alone. And see all the little guilt traps, all the traps. Anyone that's young watching this, or even if your parents are still alive, you know what? Nothing is as big as we make it to be. Let me put it another way. I guarantee your guilt will be bigger than whatever problem you think you have now. Just say what you need to say. Don't have any hard feelings, and just, it's okay if you don't agree. It's all right. The only thing I absolutely don't try if they're physically abusive or anything like that. All right? But know that you've tried it, and you've got to try, and maybe see them in a different light, see them from a different perspective. That's all. So that way you won't have that guilt, because you can think you're being fine. I'm a great daughter, sibling, whatever, wife, whatever, husband, spouse, whatever. And then that person crosses over unexpected, and we start doing this checklist. Oh, crap. You know what? I maybe should have called that person a little bit more. I should have done that. Watch, it creeps on you. It really, really does. And then you wish whatever we argued over last, or whatever we didn't talk about, was so stupid. Why can't we just have the conversation? Wow. Right? Guess what? We still can. Death doesn't mean it's over, it's final. They are so much stronger. I've had great conversations with my dad, with my mom, and my biological dad, all crossed over. I've had great conversations with them that I did not have in the physical plane, and kick myself sometimes going, why didn't I? And they stop me. They're like, no, stop. It's okay. So I think that's great. And what we're doing now is, as we are ascending, we're having a lot of what I call the Pandora's box within us is opening. All this crap that we've shoved down into ourselves and create this Pandora's box is our fear, is our guilt, is our suffering that we're holding on to. It's opened, it's coming out. And the thing is as it's coming out, we'll see it. We'll feel it. And it's okay to see it and feel it. The trick is not to relive it. The trick is not to fall right back down into that guilt, into that shame, into those feelings that just really disempower you. You're watching it release. That's what's happening. Let it release. Don't grab onto it and try to pull it back down. Observe with disattachment. Just observe it. Witness it. Witness your healing. Witness it. Release. This is all part of that. I'm allowing it out. I'm resolving it. All right. And resolve with divine love. By that divinity that we have, that divine love, I'm going to just soak that with love. Woo! That is very powerful when we shine our light like that and releasing it. That's what resolve and release. So we're only going to observe it, not release it, not relive it. Let it go. And then, because I caught myself doing that again, and my dad's like, why don't you think about the good times? How about these memories? And I start laughing. I was like, why do we do that? We have a lot of great times. Why do we just grab onto that fear, guilt, shame, whatever? And I was like, you know what, Dad, you're right. And I have a lot of conversations with my dad in the kitchen because my dad was the cook. And I have him in there. And when I do dishes in the kitchen, I have more conversations just with my dad. That was my dad's sacred space, believe it or not, was the kitchen area. He would come home from a hard day at work, and he loved to cook for his family. And he was a great cook. Now, the thing is that I realized this is meditation time. He wouldn't let anyone in the kitchen, so he never taught me how to cook. So I never learned how to cook. And I still have no desire. Well, my husband knew that, what he was getting into before we got married. So like, yeah, you want to eat, you're going to have to cook. Anyway, so I understood that was my dad's sacred space. So that's where I connect with him a lot, is in the kitchen. You know, I'll clean. I like doing that. That's fine. So I'll clean the kitchen, wash dishes, and have conversation with Dad, you know, and there's times I'll call upon him and, hey, how about a recipe? You know, we'd have something different. Can you help me out here? So it's great. And where is your place? And it could be anywhere, you know, but it's, for me. So that was that conversation we had today. I felt myself, I look at the picture going, oh, I miss you. I wish I could have a hug, a physical hug. I love our connection, but don't we miss that physical hug? And he's like, I'm with you. You know, and think about the good times. Stop feeling this guilt stuff. It's fine. Everyone turned out fine. It's okay. We've come too far to fall back, to even turn back. And don't worry, because we're not going to do that. All right. So let me go back to the comments here. Robin, I did the same thing with my dad and grandma. Yeah. Okay. Chris, I am so glad I was there for both my parents. Once they passed, I was guilt-free. That's beautiful. And that's how I was with my biological parents. My mom had battled cancer, but even though someone who has been sick and battled the whole time, and we always had kind of a rough relationship, but the last 2 years of her life, we really got very, very close. And I'm grateful for that. And the same with my biological dad. Now, there was a lot of anger there. There was a lot of, and he got sick and was given the time. And I got to know him. We got to that point of understanding and appreciation. And we didn't have to agree on things. We didn't have to see eye to eye, but at least we understood each other and we made up. All right. And so there was no guilt there. That's what surprised me with my bonus dad was, oh no, you know, so because it was so sudden, huh? All right. Jeremy, at the end of Pandora's box is hope. I love that. Yes, Jeremy. Thank you so much for reminding me of that. All right. So Marie, let's see. I also went through the same thing. Even after 10 years of my mom's passing, I still go through the guilt. Been trying to release the guilt for years. Yes, Marie. And here's something else too, is that we can have a delayed reaction in grieving. I did that with my mom's passing. I wouldn't allow myself. I was pregnant with the first child, with the first grandchild that she didn't even get to, but she did. All right. So the things we tell ourselves to, right? But my mom crossed over a while before my oldest actually plugged in, where his soul plugged in. I was pregnant, but she crossed over before before he plugged in. So they knew each other. They high-fived. They absolutely. She spent time with my other son before he came in too. So they know each other on a very high spiritual level, even if they don't have that memory in their mind. They were together, and isn't it crazy though, the trappings that we delayed grief is bad too. You think you're fine, and then one day it hits you like a ton of bricks, and you're going through it all over again. And then you do have everything to sort through, guilt, anything else too. So yeah, it can take some time. I totally agree, Marie. It can take a long time to get over that. All right, so let's see. Chris, my dad contacted me about 36 hours after he crossed over. I think he felt guilty for leaving so quickly. He just had to make sure I was okay, and I was. Oh, I love that. I love it. That's great, great, great. They want to make sure that we're okay. Absolutely. And it's, the first 36 hours, yeah, sure. They can still have some of their human feelings. It depends on how fast they ascend. A lot of times, from what I've heard, they'll hang out for 7 days, depending, from 3 to 7 days. A lot of them like to watch their funerals, or, and then they'll fully cross over and ascend. Get off this third and fourth. The fourth dimension was heaven. So they're in between the third and fourth at that time, and then when they fully go into the fourth, I like to call fourth as really it's a vibrational airport, subway, train station, whatever you want to. It's like the station. Okay, this is where you have to go to leave and come into the earth plane. Interestingly, other higher vibrational beings and other earth planes, they don't have the birth and the death like we do. They just, guess what? I got to do a mission here on this planet. I'm going to think myself there, and I'm going to be there. And then when it's time to go, I just go. And everyone's okay with that. Everyone's cool with that. There isn't the grieving. Everyone understands each other in the missions. I think it's hard to understand that, isn't it? Because we're not used to that. And it's like, what? But guess what? We are ascending, and we are going into, it's not uncharted territory. We just forgot. So this is great that we're getting this rebirth, so to speak, of who we are, of our divinity. Okay. Wendy, great. I don't feel guilty at all over my parents' death, but on the other hand, I think they feel guilty before they passed on how they treated me. My father asked me for forgiveness. That's beautiful. Yes, absolutely. And know that people know when they're getting ready to cross over. When I go back and think about some things, watch how they start to act different. And a lot of them it depends. Some of them right up before they cross over, they may ask for it. Some of it ask for forgiveness, or they want to just, I don't want to say make up, but be on peaceful terms before they cross over. So it can be on the deathbed. It can be before then. They really just start acting strange. And what I mean by that is they start stepping back from things. And my dad actually did have the signs when I went back, when I started to think about that and allow myself to replay what happened the year before and to recall that. And it was like, what? It was really interesting. Now, he crossed over in 2004. In 2003, and we were stationed in Georgia, and he was in Virginia. So I could tell you, my husband probably thought I was just so crazy. I knew I needed to get back to my dad. And I was willing to, the kids and I are going to go move and live with him and stay with him because something is up. And I started to pack the house up. I had moving boxes, was packing stuff up. My husband's like, what's going on? What are you doing? I had to get to my dad. And I knew it on a subconscious level, but my mind didn't want to. It's just, he needs me. All right. But he stopped bowling. He bowled all the time. You would not keep him away from a bowling alley. And suddenly he stopped his, going bowling. He bowled on a team. He stopped doing all of this. So I do believe our loved ones give us signs that subconsciously we understand, but we don't want to admit that because for whatever reason. All right. And so it's beautiful to let all of that go. And that's the thing, is we have to let it all go. Don't relive it. Just observe, let it release. Okay? So that, very good. So speaking about the eclipse, Chris had shared with me this really great website. I'm going to show this here. You can watch the eclipse. You can watch it. It's timeanddate.com. Timeanddate.com. You go to that website, and on the bottom, it has this link. It says live total lunar eclipse. You can watch it as it happens. All right. So you can watch as the super full moon turns blood red in the sky above North and South America and Europe and parts of Africa on, of course, this evening into early Monday morning in some areas in the time zone. Again, that is timeanddate.com, and just go to the bottom and you can click on that and watch it as it happens. So it's pretty interesting. Thank you, Chris, for that information. And definitely we'll have to check that out after the show. And for all those who, or even you watch us in the replay, I'm sure they might have it recorded. You could probably go back and look at it again, that kind of information. So let me see. Robin, my dad lived in San Antonio. Oh, Robin, are you serious? Wow, that's where my biological dad was. San Antonio. I lived in Chesapeake, Virginia. Get out. I'm from that area. He sent me a care package with very sentimental things. I got the package the day he died. I wonder if our dads knew each other. My biological dad was a reverend minister in San Antonio. I'm from Virginia, Robin. We've got to know each other somehow. That's really wild. Yay. Okay. Okay, so Chris is talking about on that website it just shared, the time and date. They have commentators that talk about it too. That's really cool. Awesome. Robin, we've got to talk offline and kind of see where, if we intersect in the past somewhere. That's just really wild. Woo! All right. So, I know, right? Another thing that I know, it's just too wild, isn't it? Another thing that Chris had shared with me, that Chris Herman, who's in our chat, and I wanted to share with you. Last week, we also talked about instant karma. Okay, we talked about instant karma. And she had this really great experience. Now, for those of you who listened last week and we talked about instant karma, if you want to share that, start typing it now in the comments. If you wanted to share anything, your thoughts, or maybe an experience, that was your homework, remember? Have you experienced instant karma? So here we go. It was so Chris, I'm going to share the funny story. One morning I was getting ready to leave for work, and some days things just don't flow as nice as we want them to, right? Well, I lost my patience with myself and got quite snarly. Well, all the way to work, I kept hitting red lights, which was slowing me down. And I caught myself and said, whoa, this is what Tiffany was talking about, instant karma. So I took a deep breath, a couple of deep breaths, asked the angels to help me, And I got green lights the rest of the way to work. That was pretty instant. So isn't that pretty cool? Thank you for sharing that, Chris. Thank you. Instant karma. Wow. Beautiful. So we're going to be able to watch this with people too. This is that instantaneous instant. Wow. Because we are accelerating. We are going faster. We are moving faster. And I don't want to say that so much that it's time, but more like a moment, right? It's at this moment. And because time doesn't really exist like we think it does. So let's just call it a moment. Ooh, stay hydrated. And you may feel your throats. As we're releasing, we may feel like our throats, because we're releasing any blocks in our throat, talking and speaking to your throats, may feel sore during this moon. Oh, and another thing, okay, for the mamas out there, I can't remember. What was it with the baby scalp? Was it cradle cap? Let me tell you, my head has been itching like crazy. And I'm very careful. I'm very sensitive. I use really good shampoo and conditioner. I'm very careful with that. Devin had this happen, but just the last week, I don't have bugs. But it's like, oh my God, I'm scratching all over my scalp, all the way down the back, my neck, and where there's even that causal, it's the causal chakra. And I'm just having a field day sometimes. It's just like, ooh, it feels so good. You know, like how you scratch a dog and the dog's like, oh yeah, that right there. So, I would do that sometimes. And I was like, what is that all about? And so I ask my angels about that in the Council of Light. And they're like, do you know that as humanity has progressed, that the skulls are getting bigger again? I'm like, so what you're saying is that it itches, and they say, so like that birth cap that babies have, and you scratch that scalp off, and it's because of the expansion. And I'm like, well, is that energetically or actually physically? Or so as our left and right hemispheres are becoming unified, it is reshaping our skulls? Oh, that's fascinating. Thought I'd share that with you. It's really cool. Okay? So be open to it. I mean, and once you go through, of course, the immediate, oh my gosh, I know it's not my shampoo. So, yeah, sure. Yeah, see, just things that you note, because this is all part of these ascension symptoms or side effects, or just what we're experiencing. Our physical body hasn't been on this highest vibration in such a very long time. And remember that our DNA strands is changing, and the strands that were dormant are reactivating. So it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool, isn't it? And I thought that was interesting. And I'm like, okay, yeah, journaling this down. And so then Friday night, I love Friday nights. That's my Ancient Aliens night on TV. I like watching that. Now, there's a lot that it's just, you just watch. Okay. Take what you can use and leave the rest behind, is always just an open mind, right? So I'm sorry if I made anyone else itchy when saying that. I'm sorry, Chris. I know, right? Oh, anyway, but whether it itches or just you're being drawn to it energetically, just pay attention to your head area, from your third eye all the way back down to the base of your neck. So anyway, so Friday nights, I love Ancient Alien nights, and I do a lot of recordings. I haven't set up any new shows, just come on and record. And so it was very interesting as was catching up on some of the videos, the recordings of the ancient aliens, and I was watching the one about Mars. Now I didn't catch the beginning; I only caught like the end, and because it was, I had it on live, and I was like, oh, I have this recording. I shouldn't watch it, but we do anyway. So I watched the end of it, and I'm like, no, I got to go back and watch the beginning. But it was so fascinating because they were talking about Mars and life on Mars. And I'm like, yeah, been there, done that. I feel there's still beings there, but they're underground. They're not on the surface. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm really, first contact is so, it's already happened to a lot. How do you know the people that you know in your life aren't, and we all are really star seeds? But the thing is that we shouldn't lose focus over this. I just want to share this with you because I thought it was fascinating. All right. Was that it pretty much validated what the angels told me, and the light beings, the light council told me from a show, which doesn't matter how that they validate it. But it was in they talking about how, all through science can prove all through humanity how the human skull has been expanding again. And I was like, oh, bam, there you go. But what was interesting is that the theory that we came from Mars, that there was this space war, intergalactic war, or whatever that took place for some reason. And then another theory was that Mars was the atmosphere, something happened. Now I also had heard in other space shows that our solar system does have evidence that a planet did explode. So they're wondering if this, was all part of an intergalactic war. And then we escaped Mars and was looking for another place, which, hello, Earth, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. And okay, whatever. Do we need to focus on that? I think we just need to focus on our ascension. But I'm still listening because we should have an open mind about things. And so they're like, well, do you know that and then the astronauts, and you go up into space. Okay, so we're on a 24-hour clock biorhythm. But when you go into space and the astronauts, and how come everyone from the Earth plane, it doesn't matter what country you're from, but every Earthling that goes into space, and they're now on the space clock, do you know what their natural biorhythm is? It's 29 point something hours long. Now, each planet has a different clock like that, so to speak, a biorhythm. Do you know what has 29 point something? Mars. It has the same cycle and the time. And they're like, so, and because another thing they were asking was that if we are truly from the Earth, why does the sun hurt our eyes? Why do we have to wear sunglasses? Why do we get sunburn? If we're part of the planet, it should be a more harmonious relationship. And I thought, well, don't we have the same sun in the same solar system? And then my husband's even like, he goes, yes, but Earth is the third planet. Mars is fourth. Mars is further away from the sun. So maybe that different. So it's great to have that conversation and to share the ideas. And it was just like, well, that's interesting. But I don't want people to get so caught up in where are we from? Because we're right here. We're right now. It doesn't matter what planet, what solar system, all the stars around us, the Pleiades and Sirius, and all of those are stargates, okay, into Earth. All right, again, like the whole, you have to go through these stations to get here. So portals of entering and exiting, so to speak. That's great. We're not from these places. We can spend time in a lot of different planets, a lot of different solar systems, a lot of different realms and vibrations, but that doesn't mean that's where we are. You know what? We are cosmic divine beings, period. So we don't need to know what star we came from. We are our own stars too. We are right here, right now on Earth at this moment, and we need to concentrate on our mission at hand. We need to concentrate on this ascension. That's what we need to just keep expanding and ascending. That's the focus. That's the focus. So many people get off track sometimes, or just a little, we all do. I mean, it's easy to do, right? Let's see what let's see. 2 days ago, my third eye chakra was vibrating all day. That night, I was attacked by evil spirits. I prayed for my angels to help. It would go away and then come back later. Okay. So a lot asked to identify what evil spirits, who's attacking you, and who's coming back, who around. And absolutely be very firm, with that boundaries. And because as we're ascending, those who don't want a part of it, who love the 3D, they're powerful when they sleep, or they can even astral travel, or they can project themselves too. Some of them may be able to do that. They want us to fail so that they can stay in control. So that, all right, so you can feel them around you. Absolutely. Oh, and this is what they also may talk about. Let me see here. Is the whole empath. Thank you, empaths. Oh. So we've talked about, and even in my course, Activate Your Avatar course, we've talked about empaths. And so let me tell you, being spiritual, there's good spirits and bad spirits. Empaths, there's good and bad in that too. What I kind of giggle at, it's just that there's not a division between the light and the dark. All right. And a lot of religions, some religions can be, religion is light. Cult and evil is dark. Ooh. No, spirituality is like, oh yeah, it's all one big thing, and we know that. All right. And we're going to work on it. All right. So it is all one. Now, there's also bad empaths. There's empaths who won't embrace the light. And these are the ones that we call narcissists almost. They can be called evil narcissists. All right. Because they're empathic. They can feel you and people around you. They also can be very intuitive. There's some very bad intuitives. There are some, I have met some mediums that are not in the light. So you don't have abilities because you are, because of your intention. We all have these abilities. All right. And so some of them misuse them. And you want to be very careful around those types of people. You're not going to change them. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're one step ahead. I just don't want anything to do, because they want the attention. And as soon as you stop giving them that attention, stop feeding them your vein, a vampire, they will go away. They're not going to waste their time with you anymore. They're not going to waste their time with anyone that's not going to give them attention or give them their lifeline of control and manipulation. So the thing about that for a little bit is that, just Because you're intuitive and empathic doesn't mean you're good, that you work in the light always. And I think a lot of us know this, but you still just want to be very careful. But this is what makes, so the narcissist type of person, when you meet them and it's like, oh my gosh, they act like your twin flame because they want to mirror you perfectly. That's the hook. They're going fishing. That's the hook. You stay with them for a little bit and then you get to know them a little bit more. And I'm not saying this happens to all the time because it can feel like that's every relationship. But no, it is definitely different. And all the things that we've talked about or that we've heard, like gaslighting and all this manipulation and all this, that all takes place. All right? Because they're feeding off of you. And as soon as we stop that, recognize it and say no more and move on. Oh, okay. They take advantage of your sympathetic empath. Oh, but this person has good. I'll just hang in a little bit longer. Oh, good. You're going to continue to donate to me. Donate your blood and your life energy and yay. Come on. No, we don't need to do that. Absolutely not. They're being exposed now is the whole point of that. And so they're going to act very nasty. They're going to act nastier. All right. And almost like tease and try to bully, like, what? I can't, manipulate you anymore. So they're going to be that way. They really are. And this is, they're being exposed. Remember, stuff is coming up and out and releasing. There's going to be more exposure, and we just need to let them all go. Let it go. All right. Let me go back and read some of these. See, it is funny. It is funny about Mars, the red planet. They say I have dreams of living a life like this in a red atmosphere. Yes, and I also wonder too if there's the memories of, and I know, the red skin, and they're not talking about Native Americans. I really think that they're getting confused, misunderstood history. Would love to know more. Yeah, me too. I mean, these are great conversations to have. We can have conversations. Ask our angels and the light council. Now, I'm not saying don't talk to your guides. I have to tell you, I've always stayed in contact with the angels and light beings because my mom at a very young age was not comfortable with me talking to spirit. So I essentially ignored my spirit guides. And the spirit guides are the ones that lived on this earth plane. All right, so they understand how we are. Those that talk to the angelic realm and the light beings, whether they're individual or this council of light, they can seem cold, all right, because they don't understand, number one, why we, why we live this way, and that's okay. I mean, they do and they don't understand. They don't understand human life. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. They don't understand actual life here. Observing it is different. They watch us. That's fine. Our guides that we have do have that 3D history. So I've never I haven't communicated with them for a very long time until I started to develop that about 2007. Oh, okay, this is who you are, and this is great. And I absolutely honor them and accept them into my circle of guides and my angelic committee. But I don't rely on them because I never have. So I'm still communicating with them. I do know when they come forward. They help a lot with healings because I have a shaman, a man and a woman, a medicine woman who's a shaman, and then her helper is another native man. When I'm sick and on my healing bed or when I'm going through another healing, they show up and help me. And so I do communicate with them, but not as much. I'm still up there with the angelic committee and the light beings. And it's just differences. It's just different ways that we tune in and communicate. So they can tell us, you want to know about the stars and about life off Earth. They're the ones to communicate with. Some of the guides, if they've had too many past lives here, they probably forgot too. Or they that's not their focus. Is as your spirit guide, they want to help you just get through. Okay. So there's different agendas is what I'm trying to say. There's different agendas. Okay. All right. I always get messages from your show. Wow. Well, that's, what I ask and put out there. It's part of just being the channel. That channel. Are you? There we go. Things keep. There we go. All right. Woo. Sometimes it's hard to find the energy vultures because we're so trusting. Yes, that is so true. We're so trusting, and we want to see, and we do see that. You know what it is we see that divine spark in them, but there's good in them. Absolutely every living being has a divine spark, and that's what we're seeing. That's what we see. But you want to see their true nature. All right? And yes, absolutely, Sarah. That's when you unhook. Yep. Take that hook right on out. All right. So, Marie, thanks, Tiffany. Excellent show tonight. Good night, all. Enjoy the eclipse, supermoon. Have a great week. Good night, Marie. Good night to you. You have a beautiful night. And I hope that this has helped everyone. And just a lot of times I don't know. I just go with the flow and just let things come out that everyone needs to hear. And sharing to ourselves, us interacting and sharing, it helps us all, doesn't it? It really does. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for our connection. Let me just give you my website for those who are unfamiliar, whitesagewoman.com. Again, that's whitesage, SAGE, woman.com. And I do, wow, look, it just goes by so fast, doesn't it? Very interesting show tonight. Oh, thank you, Tammy, for tuning in. Many blessings to you and the family, and many blessings to each and every one of you. And let me see if there's a final note, because I feel like there was something else that they wanted to say before we signed off. No. Okay, so that's fine. And next week, the 27th. Oh, yes, we will talk more about, okay, so this is January, garnets. They want you to, it's not only January's birthstone, but for this upcoming year, we're going to need to apply a little bit more red in our lives, whether it's garnets. You can wear garnet jewelry, have a piece of garnet. I have a small tumbled piece. They're inexpensive when they're not a polished gemstone. All right. Garnets in red. We're going to come upon the Chinese New Year, and we'll talk more about that next week. But it's very important for us, which I find is interesting too, because it's a grounding color. So know that, and just take that with you. If you're attracted to garnets lately or red, you'll know why. All right. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Sarah. Many blessings to you. Many blessings to each and every one of you. Thank you, Teresa. Yay. Thank you, Amy. Thank you. And thank you all for sitting in Sacred Circle with me and with each and every one of us. And thank you so very much. And yes, Wendy, you can find the garnets all over Connecticut. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. But yeah, I didn't have a hard time. They did buy them in a local shop, actually. So yeah. Good night, everyone. Many blessings to each and every one of you. Enjoy this supermoon. Be gentle with yourself. All right. And make sure you journal anything that you're going through. And we can talk about it next week. Until we sit in Sacred Circle again, know that you can always sit back in this sacred circle, in this healing energy of love and harmony. Good night, everyone. Good night, Lyle. Until next week, many blessings, everyone.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show.